Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hi, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to sit down and chat with you. I wish we were both sitting here, but in the meantime, I will sit and chat with you. You have fun driving, working out, gardening, cooking, whatever you're doing. Thank you for being here with me. It is the holiday season, and I have massive feelings about particularly Christmas. And I could probably do 8 different episodes about Christmas and why it's important to me and why I need it and why my spirit just craves it, especially after a rough year. My heart is just aching for a good Christmas, a good holiday season, and cold weather and hot chocolate and Christmas movies and twinkling Christmas lights and carols and the whole thing. But this year, I need it. But unfortunately, I'm having trouble getting into the spirit. And I'm a type of person that loves the events around Christmas and the things associated with Christmas. So I like to do things a little bit early. I like to decorate long before Thanksgiving. I don't mind that Christmas music is playing. I don't necessarily listen to the all Christmas music station or have Christmas music playing super early. But even sometimes if I'm struggling in March, September, wherever, if I need a little jolt of Christmas, I'll do that for myself. So I like for things to get ramped up early so that I can enjoy it a little bit longer. And just practically, I am too lazy to do all the work it takes to decorate for 25 days. No way. That is a lot of work because I do everything by myself. So if I'm going to do it, I want it to be up for a while. I want to enjoy it for a while. And I'll tell you a lesson I learned last year. I did not enjoy it enough. Even though I decorated and I liked it and everything, I did not do the thing where at night I would turn on every single light and just sit and appreciate it and have it on while I was eating dinner, watching TV, doing whatever, vacuuming. Now, if I'm inside for an hour or more, we're going to put on everything. We're going to put everything on. Let's go, put it on. Because I'm having a little trouble relaxing into the spirit, if that makes any sense. I still feel high anxiety and there's a lot going on in my head and my heart. And for me to really appreciate Christmas and the whole holiday season, I need to exhale a little bit and lean into it. So the other day, I had that moment where it was like, this is kind of a now or never thing. Today's the day I need to decorate or at least get started or do the bulk or however I want to describe it. Today's the day I need to do this. And I'm not feeling it. I don't have the energy for it. I don't feel like I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not looking forward to doing this. And so I did a little trick that I rarely have to pull out. But I had to pull out the trick this year. And let me tell you something. It worked like a charm. So what I did was I poured a glass of wine as usual. Red, of course. And red any time of the year, but definitely at Christmas. I poured a glass of wine and I specifically looked for the cheesiest Christmas movie I could find. Now, please know I love a Christmas movie. And I could really go down a list and talk about what I love and why is this so important. But instead of a favorite, I needed something really, really, really cheesy. And I found it. I meant to look before I came over here I'm going to be honest with you. It's a random, or to me, it's random. Apologies if you run this streaming service. You do not think it's random, but it's not a big one like Netflix. I think it's Peacock, the NBC one. Maybe Paramount, but I actually don't think I have Paramount. So I think it's Peacock. The movie I found is called A Christmas Karen. And when I say that, if you imagine a middle-aged woman in a almost puffy-ish vest with a haircut that's stacked in the back, who's asking for the manager, you nailed it. That is exactly what this movie is. And it is 100% a bit. But it's a bit that I needed and had no idea how much I needed it. It was hilarious. Okay, so I think you're already with me, right? Middle-aged woman, stacked haircut, got to talk to the manager. Or in this movie, she actually wanted to skip the manager. She asked for the manager. When the manager wasn't there, she wanted to go all the way to corporate. She got to go to the corporate office about whatever thing at the store that she's not getting. But let me just briefly give you. Now, if this is on your list and you don't want me to spoil anything, I would say fast forward 2 minutes. But can you imagine if someone was like, whoa, no spoilers. I have this on my list. Neither can I. Okay, so the very classic, hilarious thing that happened to this, and know that I'm only saying it's hilarious because it's a movie, obviously. Don't take this out of context and try to cancel me. But in the movie, A Christmas Karen, top 5 things that were absolute wrecks, but hilarious. She is driving her SUV, gets distracted. Of course, she's paying attention to something else, or she's complaining about something to herself. And she hits a kid in the neighborhood that's riding his bike. He is fine. He is not hurt. But she gets out of the car, and instead of asking him how he is, Karen, of course, is mad at him for scratching her car and asks for his parents' name and information because she's going to sue him. Very Karen-esque. Okay. Then this was a take on A Christmas Carol. So A Christmas Carol is a very old movie, very, very old movie, but every year when a new Christmas movie comes out, sometimes they'll use that same trope. I don't even know if I'm using that term correctly, but they'll use that same vibe and say, this is based off A Christmas Carol. But it is a bad person with a bad attitude or selfish or whatever characteristic we don't like about that person that makes them not have the Christmas spirit. They go to bed and ghosts come to see them. 3 ghosts come to see them and to help them see the wrong of their ways, the wrong of their personality, the wrong of their selfishness, and teach them that Christmas is important and why it is important and how it's going to change the world. So what the first ghost is the ghost of Christmas past, and it takes them to some memory of their childhood. But it also gives the viewer a chance to learn, why did she become this Karen? I mean, outside of her name, I don't really mean that she's a Karen because that's her name. That has turned into a type of personality that a person can have. And side note, if your name is Karen, I do feel bad for you because I know this has turned into something. And I don't mean to promote it, but it's just really hilarious. So Then the ghost of Christmas present comes. And so you know what's going on in the Christmas present because you're living it, but they show you something else that you don't know about that's going on to help open your eyes to usually someone that's suffering. Then the ghost of Christmas future comes and shows you what is in your future. What will a Christmas look like in 10, 15, 20 years from now if you don't change the path you're on? And you keep being selfish, you keep being mean, you keep being a miser. That's what the original one was about. So her ghost, the amount of things I can't explain about this movie is ridiculous. But for some reason, her ghost comes. A lot of questions about her ghost. But the first ghost says, I don't know, something mean to her, and then takes a chicken pot pie that she was baking and shoves it in her mouth and says something like, eat your pot pie or something. I don't know. It was so it was just, I'm struggling for the words because I was thinking, what am I watching here? What is happening? And what I'm watching is a woman that is unhappy. She's in Florida. It's hot. And I think that's part of why I'm struggling getting into the spirit. I live in Texas, so this is normal for the weather to not really catch up to the holiday. When I lived in the Northeast, I was very in the spirit because it got cold. Like Labor Day, the day after Labor Day, I was like, okay, here's fall. Put your boots on, put your coat on, let's go. And by the time Christmas came, and there may be some snow, and we're all ready for it. I was having hot chocolate. But she's grumpy. She doesn't like Christmas, and she keeps telling everybody she doesn't like Christmas. But she's wearing a shirt that has a bedazzled glass of wine on it, and that glass of wine has a Santa hat on it. So I was already very confused. Do you hate Christmas or do you love it? Because a Santa hat on anything means you kind of got to be into it, right? But that's beside the point. So during her Ghost of Christmas Past time, she sees herself, gosh, I think she's like a bartender or something. I already forgot what the lesson was there, but she was mad at her younger self for not twerking hard enough to earn some tips at whatever bar she worked at. And I just kept thinking, you're not doing a good job of redeeming yourself if that's what's supposed to be happening. And the last thing that I just could not with, I hope this is encouraging you to watch this because it was fantastic. It was hilarious. But she kept saying, I need some Xanax. I need some Xanax. I need some Xanax, which is probably like a classic Karen-ish thing to need. But she grabs this giant Costco-sized bottle from her bedside table and turns it toward the camera. And this is not a movie that Coca-Cola or anyone of that nature has sponsored. Okay, so we're not, that chicken pot pie, it wasn't a branded thing. The car company of the SUV she was driving was not sponsoring this movie. So we're not seeing any brand names of anything. She pulls out this Costco-sized bottle of her quote-unquote Xanax. And it was, if you know anything about Xanax, it's spelled Xanax, I think. As I'm saying this, I'm like, I don't even actually know how it's spelled. But hers was spelled Xanax or something, so that everybody knew, hey, I know she's been saying Xanax, but don't sue us. Wink, wink. This is Z-A. It was just everything was such a bit. And I think that's what I needed. I needed the ridiculousness of everything to reset me and to even say to Joy, Ghost of Christmas Present, you are taking everything way too seriously. You're taking the time and the effort and you're taking the pressure of Christmas way too seriously. Even if you have a great Christmas, it is not going to fix everything. It's not going to balance out any other stuff that went wrong this year. You can't figure out the exact right Christmas stocking stuffer to give someone to fix something ugly you may have said this year, or fix the fact that you weren't there for somebody you're putting way too much pressure on this. Okay? And you need to lighten up a little bit. That's what you need to do. Now, I did get much of the decorating done that night, but many times I did have to stop and rewind and see, what did I just watch? What was that? What just happened? But I love any type of Christmas Carol type thing. And I would just love for a ghost to take me to young Joy and see her getting her Barbie hot tub or her canopy bed when Christmas. These are obviously my big Christmas memories from when I was a kid. Just take me behind the scenes of something else that's going on this year that I don't know about, so that I can go reach out to somebody. Take me to the future. See what's coming for me if I don't change my ways. I just think that would be so interesting. And what if I am on a bad track? I want the ghost to come get me back on the right track, you know? I think that would kind of be cool. Now, if you asked me, what is your favorite Christmas movie of all time? I think I would probably say It's a Wonderful Life. That is a very old black and white. I still like it in black and white. Very, very old Jimmy Stewart movie. I want to say Donna Reed. Please don't be mad if that's wrong, but I want to say Donna Reed. And Barrymore is the banker guy. And that guy, the Jimmy Stewart guy, is down on his character is down on his luck. George Bailey, he's down on his luck. He's having a really rough go. Financially, he's ruined. His business is crumbling. His house is falling apart. His family needs him and he's just falling apart. So he thinks, you know what? It'd just be better if I wasn't even here. Let's at least get my wife the insurance money. But an angel comes and saves him and shows him, you know what? You don't want to be here? Let me actually show you what life would be like for everybody in your whole town and your family if you never were born. Let's see what that is. And spoiler alert, it would be horrible. All the little things that he does, little and big things, made a huge difference. But in the moment of his struggle, he couldn't see it. So the angel had to open his eyes to that. Sometimes I'm like, man, I could really use an angel show me that I did something good somewhere. And the effects are reverberating. Wouldn't that be nice? But at the end of the day, when he came back, when he had the different perspective, he was able to be so grateful for what he had, including some of his challenges. Now, obviously, he also made a lot of money. Okay, that's not really true. They all paid him back, but it's the perspective shift, the seeing things differently, the stepping back and realizing, hey, we're getting wrapped up in the minutia of everything, and we need to step back and realize what we have and how blessed we are, and how. For me, I'm grateful to even have a season like this. It's nuts that we all just agreed over the years. Hey, this is what Christmas time is kind of like. Here's kind of what the holidays are like. Here's what we're generally going to do. Yes, every person, every family, every unit has their own special traditions. They have their own special ways of celebrating, their own things that matter to them. But isn't it amazing that we as a group were like, you know what would be cool? We need to sing some lighthearted songs about snowmen and flying reindeer and Santa Claus. It's just kind of what we need. We need to eat a lot, probably some sugar. Let's hang out. Let's smell some pine trees. You know what? Actually, let's just bring a whole pine tree in. Let's just bring a whole tree into the house. Let's put some lights on it. Let's decorate. Let's all, you know what? Oh, you know what would be fun? Let's have some gifts. Let's do it. And I'm very, very, very here for it, especially now that A Christmas Karen turned me around and kind of got me ready to get in the spirit. I'm honestly kind of grateful for her.
Thanks for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. I'm James, the producer, editor, director, and executive producer. Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Honestly, forget TikTok. I don't even know how to use
You
it
don't even
anyway.
know how to use it anyway.
James?
Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram and Facebook. See you next week.